The ocean is one of the biggest mysteries of our planet, with waters covering over 70% of the Earth, and yet so little being drinkable. It's no wonder we often find so many creepy, cool, and amazing things. This is Scary TV, and today we are covering the top 10 creepiest things found in the ocean. There are sunken cities, pieces of alien crashes, parts of the Apollo mission, and much more. Like and subscribe to hear even more about the creepiest, deadliest, and scariest things in the world. Did you know that Atlantis was not the only underwater city? There have actually been dozens of sunken cities, eerily resting at the bottom of the ocean, near places such as Japan, Greece, India, and China. The first sunken city that we are covering today, though, is none other than the Temple of the Beautiful Cleopatra. An international team of divers led by French underwater archaeologist Frank Gaudio is using advanced technology to explore the submerged ruins of a place and temple complex from Queen Cleopatra's rule. Alexandria's royal quarters, ports, a cape, and islands full of temples, even places and military outposts, simply slid into a watery tomb following a cataclysmic earthquake in the 4th and 8th century. Frank had dedicated his time in the sea on the Princess Duda research boat to create real maps of the ancient tomb. This is one of the richest archaeologist sites to date, and there have been many pieces acquisitioned for study to help us understand the secrets of the past. A statue head of Caesarion, son of Cleopatra and Caesar, has been found keeping a watchful guard over the underwater resting place, and archaeologists say the original statue was well over 5 meters. Sediment has preserved many of the pieces, and archaeologists have been able to desalinate them and bring back a pristine look into the past. Interestingly enough, that brings us to the next underwater city. Often dubbed as China's Atlantis, Lion City was purposefully flooded to make way for a power station, yet remains completely intact 130 feet underwater after 56 years. Lion City is a maze of white temples, memorial arches, paved roads, and houses. This is indeed China's real-life Atlantis, and is a beautiful sight to behold. But what eerie, watery secrets lay in its depths? China, seeking a more clean energy alternative, erected a dam and created the now sunken depths of Qiandao Lake. Even wooden structures still stand, surprisingly strong, as if the city itself were defying nature and demanding to be remembered. Kai Feng, a local tourism official, has now set up a future plan to make Lion City a destination for diving clubs so that tourists can experience its majesty up front. Creepy Undersea number 3. Did you know that there is a locomotive graveyard underwater near the state of New Jersey? 2 rare trains from 1850 were discovered in Long Branch under 90 feet of water. What makes this really creepy is that no ship reported trains missing. No trains anywhere resembling these were missing. There wasn't even any record of the trains being created. It's believed that these secret trains fell victim to a powerful storm while being transported across the Atlantic Ocean, eerily preserved under a thick layer of rust. However, whether or not these mystery trains took someone with them to the depths is still unknown. Paranormal divers have been looking to get permission to dive and investigate to see if these waters have become haunted by spirits taken too young. Number 4. War. War has an absolute heavy death toll and often leaves behind angry spirits, known to haunt the ancestors of those who caused their demise, or their location of their demise. In the case of the Operation Hailstone, a surprise attack was made against the Japanese Imperial Fleet during World War II. Hundreds of military battleships, aircraft, and submarines were destroyed in a quick succession. For 2 brutal days, the military base on the coast of the Caroline Islands were absolutely barraged and destroyed as vengeance for Pearl Harbor. The event killed thousands of soldiers, and the wreckage remained undiscovered until the legendary Jacques Cousteau explored it in the late 1960s. Today, it is called the Truk Lagoon and is now one of the many undersea attractions for tourists to visit the dead. Be careful what you wish for, though, when lurking in the depths of the graves, for you might bring something back with you. Comment below if you know of someone who came home with a demon attached to them after disturbing a resting place of the dead. Number 5 will stir up the ufologist, as it seems the visit of some of our extraterrestrial friends or foes come to an end with a watery crash. In 2014, Swedish professional divers recognized a UFO-shaped object at the bottom of the Baltic Sea and said their equipment would always stop working as they got close to the object, almost as though it were consistently launching an electromagnetic pulse to render electronics useless. You don't even have to be in the water either. Even on boats above the object, all equipment stops working. The Swedish diving team noted a 985-foot flattened-out runway leading up to the object, showing its crash path before stopping. There is no way to enter the object, as it seems impenetrable, but researchers continue to try and break in. Number 6 is one of the world's oldest computers. In fact, it is centuries old. Dated for a creation between 200 and 70 BC, it was finally excavated in 1902 and is now known as the Antikythera mechanism. Found in the treacherous waters off of the Greek island. It was finally excavated in 1902 and is now known as the Antikythera mechanism. Found in the treacherous waters off of the Greek island, Antikythera, the wrecked ship that once carried it protected the ancient astronomical computer's bronze gears as best it could, but over time, the mechanical parts slowly rusted and warped. Spiridon Stice was together with his crewmates at dinner, having a good meal, and then set about retrieving the decaying treasure. One of the most elaborate pieces of equipment from its time, archaeologists and scientists abroad have been using X-rays and CT scans to look inside the mechanism to reconstruct it in pristine shape. We know now that the clock-sized device contained an elaborate collection of some 30 interlocking, spinning gears that controlled dials tracking the sun, the moon, eclipses, planets, and the schedule for the Olympics. Much akin to the device in Pitch Black that Riddick finds tracking the dark sides of the planet when the monsters are released. Even more interesting, though, the mechanism was inscribed with many messages about the eclipses and its colors, which detailed how and why the Greeks made certain astrological predictions. A peek into the past, before the brave souls transporting the mechanism lost their lives to a treacherous watery death. Number 7 is perhaps a watery portal to another world. Often dubbed the second Stonehenge, the stone circle was found about 40 feet down in Lake Michigan's Grand Traverse Bay. Archaeologists have found a mysterious circle of stones that have been meticulously placed according to a plan that is akin to Stonehenge and comes with prehistoric carvings that scientists believe were made during the Ice Age about 10,000 years ago. The ancient stones were discovered only a few years ago due to multiple shipwrecks happening surrounding the site. Some paranormal experts have suggested that perhaps this was the other half of a teleportation device to another plane or to the other Stonehenge. Other indigenous experts have asserted that this was the site of the Native American ceremonial site for a circle of chiefs. What do you think? Comment below. How many times have you heard someone say all they want is $1 million? That if they could just somehow find that money, then their lives are so much better. Well, that is exactly what could happen if they were to go explore the floor of the ocean, 50 miles off the coast of Nantucket, Massachusetts. In 1909, a luxury liner called the RMS Republic collided with another ship and sunk. The ship was reported to be carrying a treasure that was worth $3 million then, but is now estimated to be more than $1 billion today. Though this treasure has gained a reputation sure to chill you to your bones, as it has destroyed many lives seeking it, dubbing it cursed by locals. A former resident of the island had made it his life's mission to find the fortune, but unfortunately, even with the History Channel aiding in the search and documenting it along the way, his efforts have been not only fruitless, but also consuming him to the point of becoming much like Gollum in Lord of the Rings. His precious to this day still lurks in the depths, unfound, but always beckoning to him. There are many wonders in the world that render people speechless. Even more so, there are those that are just plain baffling. At the bottom of the Sea of Galilee was resting a 60,000-ton stone structure that scientists and archaeologists are left with the question of why. The oddity appears to be 12,000 years old and was man-made by a well-organized society, but no one has any idea why. Some religious experts found themselves wondering if this may be the Tower of Babel. Could this be the legendary tower that God halted construction of in order to prevent humans from reaching heaven through the tower, and thus language was born? Another possible and more reasonable explanation, though, is that since the structure appears to attract fish, maybe it was made simply to bolster the local fishing commerce. Ancient fish nurseries are quite common in Galilee, but this is unlike any of the other ones discovered thus far. Was it simply an innovative attempt at trying a new scientific structure? Was it the Tower of Man trying to reach God? You tell us down below. The final of the creepy and the mysterious items at the bottom of the sea is a religious artifact of gigantic proportions. In Petoskey, Michigan, the waters can be a mystical experience when the ice cooperates. Standing on a frozen expanse of Little Traverse Bay and peering down through the oddly clear water, one would expect to see majestic fish. However, on this particular day, it was the face of crucified Christ staring back. Underwater was an 1,800-pound Italian marble crucifix. Many of religious followers have flocked to the crucifix. In fact, over 2,000 people in 2015 made the pilgrimage to see the crucifix and pray at the site. For years, the crucifix was cloaked in mystery. Jessica said it was carved as a memorial to a young man who died on the east side of Michigan, but it ended up behind a church in the Bad Axe area when it arrived cracked, and the buyers did not want it. A local group bought it, fixed the damage, and later dedicated it as a memorial to lost drivers after the death of someone in the area. It was initially placed 65 feet deep in the bay in 1962. More than 1,000 people attended the first dedication, but over time, it sank deeper in the lake bottom and was no longer visible, he has said. It was rededicated in its new spot in 1986. That is all we have for this video, the creepy and mysterious in the depths. Any we missed that are your favorites? Comment below. Thanks for joining us. We love to bring you the creepy and the weird, the mysterious and the scary, and seek to find a way to help you explore all the wonders from the safety of your home. Like and subscribe to let us know that you want to see more videos like this as we dive into the depths of scary TV.